I'm reviewing the Mortal Kombat movie, one from the 90s, the original Mortal Kombat. I know titled Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat movie, and also the new one that just came out, also titled Mortal Kombat. Now, I love the remake a lot more. 10 out of 10 easily. And the old school one from 1995, I think, or 1992. I'll just put the year up in the title of the video of when it came out. And the one came out this year, 2021. The other one came out in the 90s. I personally, as a telling a free act structure and keep me invested and telling an interesting story, I'm going to give props to the new one. And also telling action scenes and really epic score that doesn't sound like it came from Kids Bop, unlike the original one. Or episode of Scooby-Doo, of Scooby meets the Howling Rolltrollers, or Batman and Robin, or something came out from Adam West's run of Batman for us if he made an epic score. That would be the original score, and the first Mortal Kombat movie I have to give props for being for really being the cheesy, lame the score it is for the original one, okay? Now, I have played the games almost all except the new one, Mortal Kombat 11, which is the newest one to me I know of. And I like all the games. I like the stories and I like the blood and gore and violence mix into one. It's the games are like these beautiful, awesome, silly R&B movies that with a big budget. The video games I always play like that, you know. Like they felt like they were paying homage to R-rated Bruce Lee movies whenever he would go cuckoo after just getting one cut. And he would go skull screen like, wah! You know, those type of B movies, you know? The Bruce Lee kind and the Jackie Chan B movies, you know, the best kind. When they're at the most brutalist at kicking people's asses and killing them. The games are. It's strange, I don't really hear that many people talking about how great the new one was. The one from 2021. That also goes by the same name, Mortal Kombat. It's strange because I can see why most people think the old one is better. It's lighthearted, like the Adam West, more than the Adam West show from the 60s, 1966 era of filmmaking. And a lot more dumb and retarded in terms of logic and story-wise. And telling a free act structure of a story. With more cheesy, delicious, stupid acting. And just like the last Airbender movie, it's beautifully cast as the white men over and put those Chinese people into their place because they don't deserve to act. Is basically what the original one's saying. I see who, for those who should be Chinese, are cast as the white man or the white girl. An interesting thing, majority of the Mortal Kombat video games are Chinese or Asian. I get Chinese and Asian people mixed up, okay? I mean, Japanese and Chinese. I get those mixed up, okay? But the point is, they're not white. Unlike the movies, the first two ones, Mortal Kombat Annihilation and Mortal Kombat, the first installment to Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And yes, they do connect and take place in the same continuity. And the only one, that's should be a white man, straight white man, is probably confused with his gender of what he's into. I think they made John Cage bisexual because he had him flooring with Goro after kicking him in the balls. And then Goro trips off his ass over a cliff. After getting spooked by Johnny Cage. Getting surprised by him. In fact, that's actually how most people died in the original Mortal Kombat movie. That's their version of fatalities. Why? Because the best adaptation is not the one from faithful to the source material or the one that'll make a good movie. The best adaptation is to be lazy as possible. Remember that. And the most unfaithful to the source material as possible. That's what those die-hard Mortal Kombat fans want. And I salute you with the finger. And you can take that middle finger and shove it up your ass. For both sides of the sex and the ones in between of the sex. I don't know what they want. I don't like you. So, anyway, blah blah blah. That's what I got to say about Mortal Kombat action scenes in the original Mortal Kombat movie. And this is my review on both Mortal Kombat movies. I don't know if I told you that, but this is my review on the action and humor. And that's what the humor and action is like. It's basically a slapstick action movie. The most retarded version of a slapstick action movie. Since the last action failed since starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Except that movie was actually kind of creative on how it handled that topic. It went stupid at times, like too far stupid, but it seemed to be self-aware on how stupid it was, and it gave us like some sort of honest charm to it. Like there was this like sincerity, like we knew what they were making wasn't high quality filmmaking. This movie, oh my god, is completely oblivious. The Mortal Kombat movie from the 90s to Mortal Kombat that goes by with the same name for the remake. Not only did it got so let's get this, let's get it straight. Most of the cast are white cast who should be Chinese or Japanese. I can see where M. Night Shyamalan got his inspiration to remake his beloved classic that everyone loves and falls in love with, of the love of filmmakers, of film people who are fans of good films, and movie and the franchise of The Last Airbender show as well, made by Nickelodeon, which is probably the most popular series last time I checked, and in terms of franchises of shows. So I can see why so many people love that 2010 live action reimagining, also remake, where to put those people from opposite color sides of the whites in their place by not even giving them a chance, unless they're the background characters. With no dialogue. Or barely any. Or do anything. That's what, but we have Mortal Kombat from 90s Mortal Kombat movie. First Mortal Kombat movie ever, or first Mortal Kombat movie ever, legally, in any version. To thank for M. Night Shyamalan's inspiration of his beloved classic, The Last Airbender movie, his best movie of all time, as people say. And you can't tell that is sarcasm because everyone hates that fucking film. And I'm one of those people, so, the fact that I had a reference Last Airbender movie from 2010 that M. Night Shyamalan created, and saying he drew inspiration obviously from this film, and also from the people that played blackface in the older movies, that this movie Mortal Kombat is clearly paying homage to the blackface people. Now, if you don't know what blackface is, that's basically people who are dressed up as black males or women. And they're really white people. Because these are the same thing with Indians, too, in the original King Kong. On Skull Island. Yes, see, I know more people don't want the real deal for the Asians, or to not look like Asians. They want them to look like a white. I know this because this guy Angry Joe says that Raven from this movie, played by the Highlander guy from the Highlander movie franchise, that action / fantasy franchise, that talks like this. And he uses this. He doesn't even bother to describe his voice. He's like, talks like this. Mortal Kombat. And he's using his like normal voice, his Highlander voice. They think this is his natural voice actually in real life. And Raven, in case you know, is not supposed to be a white dude. He's in the games, he's a Chinese or Japanese, he was like, he looks similar to me, okay? Is what I'm trying to say. So, I'm sorry for not being officially correct on everything. Anyway, majority of the cast suffer from this luck, unfortunate luck, in the original Mortal Kombat movie, just like the people on Skull Island in the original King Kong movie, the first one ever, to King Kong. And just like the people that played black people, even though they're white people in disguise as black people, and in so many old films. So, I don't know what Angry Joe doesn't like Raven looking more like Raven and looking more like Hollywood Raven. As in the fake Raven, for the real Mortal Kombat fans from the games that fall in love with them and grew up with them. Yeah, fuck those people. They're racist. And stupid. If they think if it's somehow these things more convinced for someone who is not playing a white character, play this character, or whether black or anything, it's like having a black man or a black girl play this white character and everyone knows that's supposed to be a white character. I'm looking at UTC and J.J. Abrams for the upcoming Superman movie, which might go to be Jordan. That's going to be a black Clark Kent. So many people are pissed at that, and they responded so well by hating the film before it comes out and is already trashing the film. Some people like say, I don't judge. I'm not because they don't just, it's like, okay, you don't judge, which, for all I know, I see this is going to be a massive film of this upcoming Superman movie because they're doing freaky stuff now with DC when Zack Snyder's not behind the wheel of creative control. Like, really freaky, weird shit, okay? Like, it's the same problem as I had having the Turtles not be Turtles for a Michael Bay film that was produced by Michael Bay that lasted for 2 films, and making them aliens because that's what Michael Bay wanted, just for the heck of it. Yeah, so basically J.J. Abrams and the people that made this first Mortal Kombat film ever from the 90s doing the exact same bullshit. Now, as you can imagine, this put up with quite a bit of anger in me, even though I enjoyed the film as much as I enjoyed the film. I was enjoying the film, but not very satisfied with the film, the first Mortal Kombat movie. Now, the remake for satisfaction scale is super satisfying. From the 2020 version of the film to Mortal Kombat the remake. And also, let's talk about the plot. First let's go with the original. This guy is, I can't remember what his name is, oh yeah, Luke Kane. I think Luke Kane looks more like a Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage looks more like Luke Kane. Or maybe that's because they both look like they have a bit of white in them. Male in them, okay? White male in them. Like, I can't have a nose, but, it means this doesn't look how Luke Kane looks like he's probably white besides something, besides not white. It's just, there's something off of it. The look, the cast, everything for each cast member and the original Mortal Kombat is a hit and miss. And the reason I haven't talked about the plot is I can't remember the plot no matter how many times or how recent I see the film, even after I watched it. Right after I watched it, in a matter of seconds, I just forget about the plot. Why did I give it a 10 out of 10? Because Sonya Blaze has huge boobs and a great ass in the original Mortal Kombat. I don't remember think anyone actually has a camera drag. It's just like jumping from point A to point B, scene to scene. It's like the original one is Mortal Kombat movie is basically like the first Spider-Man movie from 2002 and Seth Rogen's The Green Hornet movie. It has a bunch of scenes jumbled together that you're not really sure why did he go in this movie, what purpose did he serve, but you just say, but you just say to yourself, well, at least it looks close in a sweet piece of ass out of eye candy on it. Sort of like Annihilation, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the sequel to this original Mortal Kombat movie. But I think Annihilation was more self-aware, was self-aware that it was making a stupid film meant for retired children. And adults, too. Of all ages. Okay, I was trying to be honest when I said them retired, the people retired, the audience retired. But really, this audience is flat out dumb. Of all ages, for the audience who end up really saying, this is the best movie ever. This is the best video game movie ever made. This is the best video game adaptation ever. This is one of the best ever. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're insane, is what you are. And stupid, if you think that. Or you might have several concussions, or got dropping a head at some point in childhood, just up your own ass. Or have been up your own ass. I don't know. I don't know what I meant by the last part. It's just what I'm saying is, your opinion doesn't matter. Mine does. So shut up and listen. Is what I'm trying to say. For the original Mortal Kombat movie and for the new one from 2021. Both titled Mortal Kombat. Suck it, bitches. Well, you're sad that your opinion doesn't matter? Well, boo-hoo-hoo for you. I already gave both films a 10 out of 10. But I gave them for different reasons. Both films 10 out of 10. I gave the first Mortal Kombat movie ever made, as the first attempt at making a Mortal Kombat movie titled Mortal Kombat from the 90s, a 10 out of 10 because it's just a fucking mess of a film in every way. And very unpredictable in every functional way. And plot-wise, too. Even performance-wise, and characters forgetting their character traits and one thing after the other. So, like Halle Berry's performance as Storm in the first X-Men movie. How she had the Storm accent, but then dropped it in the next thing with no explanation for the X-Men movie from 2000 titled X-Men. When she played Storm. And we didn't explain it. That's what these first two Mortal Kombat movies ever made, and they were both released into the theaters. Sequel was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. A lot of people say that was worse than the one that was called Mortal Kombat. They say that movie was a piece of shit. Well, guess what? It's either they're both good or they're both piece of shit. Because one might be better, and that's Annihilation. Easily. And I give them both 10 out of 10. But for the reason that both movies are just equally a fucking mess. But what makes Annihilation so much better is because it seems to be like self-aware that it's a fucking mess and doesn't know what it's doing. And that's so up its ass that the first one was. For the first installment of the 90s Mortal Kombat movies that only lasted for 2 films. And that's my plot of the first Mortal Kombat movie. Now, time to talk about the one I always wanted to talk about. Mortal Kombat from this year in 2021, titled Mortal Kombat. So, this movie is about, a lot of people say this guy is about this kid called Cole. Well, see, I don't think that's true because he doesn't really have any of a character. He doesn't have a character arc. I mean, he's more of an observer. Driving the passenger seat while the real character Scorpion is driving the car. Because he actually has a character arc. And gets the most fleshed out of any of them. True, I guess it can be true for me. He was in more than I expect he was being in. I guess more people were expecting more of him than he ends up being in. Most enjoy a good chunk of people I hear. Anyway, so it's. I mean, I don't know why he was only for less than a second and 2 scenes on all of the trailers, you know. The ones I saw anyway, okay? Maybe I'm missing one, okay? Maybe the Red Band trailers that I saw weren't good. The Red Band trailer I saw wasn't enough. And I was really surprised how much gore and fucking violent the edit out of the trailers. Because there's a lot. When in the beginning, and also in the free act structure of as the film plays out, okay? And okay, I really like that they hold on to a lot of these pretty much in the best. I was gonna say these quick cuts. There's these quick cuts in the film. I don't think that's true because the quick cuts and the fight scenes, and those are the quick cuts people are talking about. Not really noticeable. I mean, there are some I noticed, like there was one scene where I noticed Scorpion had Scorpion had his neck frozen by Sub-Zero, and the first opening scene during the opening fight scene of the film. And next thing you know, his neck's just not frozen anymore, even after he breaks free. But